Hey everyone, Goresh here, and I am joined by Gotcha Talks as well as Hydros, and we are going to dive into Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity. Now this is our first video talking about this game. We actually have the demo pulled up right here, and I will be going through the first stage of the demo in this video. And we're just going to sort of talk about a bunch of different things that, people have asked me, I've seen people ask other people, and just sort of talk about what our expectations are as well as some other stuff with this game. So have you guys both had the chance to play through the demo? I know the demo just came out, but
I was watching a playthrough earlier. Haven't had the chance to download it yet, but from what I've been seeing, it looks fantastic. Some textures in it definitely look a bit off, but I'm sure after they actually launch the game, all the little issues will be fixed up. But no, it looks pretty good so far, man.
yeah, for sure. Hydros, what about you?
Yeah, I've been playing the demo quite a bit. It's been enjoying it, trying to figure out the controls myself because I'm used to Breath of the Wild controls, and going from that to this is quite the experience.
Quite
so
different,
I'm sure once, when I'm playing this versus the Breath of the Wild, like it's I had to re muscle memory on myself here.
Yeah, for sure.
And some of the
definitely.
combos are actually like really weird in this as well. It's like.
Yeah.
You can mainly just do what you just did and just one-shot it.
Yeah, they're riding the shield attack. Just AoE everyone down, right?
But no, we're trying to get style points for this video, so I don't think Yorush is gonna do much of that.
Yeah. So basically, I'm a big fan of the original Hyrule Warriors game that was out. I actually played it on the Wii U. So it's been like 5-ish years since I played that game last, but I do have about 700 or so hours in that game. So I was a huge fan of that. And a lot of the points we're going to be talking about here are basically things that I really liked about that first game. And if you guys think that they're going to include those in this game and things that you think they can improve on or do better from those other previous games or even other previous Dynasty Warriors games, because this franchise has a history of a lot of games that they've released in the past, a strong array of titles that they've released. So we can sort of talk about things that we're looking forward to or expecting or wish they would have implemented in the previous iterations of the Dynasty Warriors series games. But the first thing I do want to bring up is, I don't know if you guys remember, but the one thing that I really liked about the original Hyrule Warriors game was the adventure mode. I think the story mode was also very good, but for me the big thing was adventure mode. Because I'm a completionist and I really like when you can strive to get different ranks or achieve different missions in different modes and just get the highest score you can possibly get. And my goal was to complete every single stage with an A rank, and that's why I have so many hours in that game, because it was like constantly retrying different stages with different strategies and stuff. So that's the one thing I'm really hoping for in this game. I don't know if you guys remember that version in the original Hyrule Warriors, but that was my favorite of that.
Yeah, I would definitely say there's going to be like a mission type mode, because again, like the story mode probably won't be that long, so I would imagine that they're going to add content like that. And question, since you did all that, was there any actual rewards for that great defeat that you did?
Not really. I mean, you got a lot of different upgrades for your characters, right? That was like the main draw of it. But it was basically like after you completed the main story, you just you were literally only left to do the adventure mode. But when I say only, I mean like that was the main thing that I spent doing in the game afterwards, because the way it worked was there was basically just a huge map, and it was sort of designed like the original Zelda games on the original like the NES system, where it was like a square, and every square you did was a different mission, and you unlocked different missions by achieving certain ranks for every stage. So yeah, it definitely took a lot of time, and that's why I have so many hours in that game.
Yeah, dude, that's crazy. I don't think I've met anybody who's done that, so good for you, man.
Yeah, and then going off of that as well, one of the big things that I really liked in that first game was the sense of progression that the game had. Because as you go through the story and as you go through the adventure mode as well, there was a lot of things you could do to upgrade your characters. There were weapons you could do. You could get different upgrades to your characters that you could achieve through getting certain missions completed, ranks achieved, stuff like that. So I think that really played a part into my completionist mentality, where all right, I need to get this this special weapon for Darunia, or like the special weapon for Zelda or whoever it was. And then you could feel the difference in power of your character as you go into the next, the next mission or the next stage. and that sense of like, okay, I'm actually getting somewhere really, I guess, hooked me onto the game when I first started playing it. So I'm hoping for the same thing in here. And actually, we'll show you guys after this mission is done. There is a screen where you can actually go in and change the weapons that are equipped to your characters. You can change the armor that's equipped, and we'll see what else they have. But again, this is just a demo of the game, so there's not a super in-depth amount of things that you can do here. As we watch this cutscene play out here.
I think Breath of the Wild and everything have great visuals for these Switch games. In terms of this game visually, the Breath of the Wild has a bit of a more ominous tone to the overall art style. The art style in this game is very similar to it, especially in character design and everything. But the like, I guess like the filter on top of it is just much darker than this game is.
Right.
Obviously,
Yeah,
given the time frame that this is the prequel to Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, what is this, like 100 years before that the events of the Breath of the Wild, or the events of Breath of the Wild?
Way before.
I think it was 100 or 1,000.
I think it's probably 100.
I think it was
1,000 seems like a lot.
I don't think it was. Yeah, no, I don't think it was 1,000.
Well, yeah, true.
And then something else I wanted to bring up too were, like probably even more so than anything else we've talked about so far, the biggest thing that I was a fan of that the original Hyrule Warriors game did was it just introduced a ton of characters, not only existing characters that already were in the game, in previous titles for the Legend of Zelda series, but just like new characters in general, original characters to the Hyrule Warriors games. The one that comes to mind right now is Lana. I know there was also a few enemies. I think there was like a wizard guy who, I've got his name, it was like Wiz something. But he was a big antagonist in that game as well. And then they eventually became playable characters, and it was cool to see this game not only harping back to the original games in the Zelda franchise, but also going out of their way to actually put some effort in and create some new characters that were actually really cool to play with and use. So I wonder if we'll see any of those in this game as well. I'm not sure if any are confirmed yet.
I noticed when you looked at the ground, your frame rate went up to like near perfect.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, I know I've seen a lot of people complaining about the frame rate of the demo, but I'm wondering if that's just like because it's a demo.
That, and I think it's just the overall original like Switch how it performs. Because I mean, even Breath of the Wild stutters, but it's much. On its actual release, Breath of the Wild was much more smooth than it actually is. But when you're in like high intense areas in Breath of the Wild, sometimes it can get a little stuttery at times. But it still goes well. But when it's docked is when Breath of the Wild shines better. Oh god. But yeah, so I think this game will have its little fixes and stuff like that on its release too, so I wouldn't really worry about it too much.
So we actually do have two playable characters that you can use in the demo. We actually have Impa over here as well. I don't know if can I already go back to her? No, I can't. I haven't unlocked her yet. But later on in this stage here, we can actually change to Impa. So when we do that, I think it's after this mission right here, I will be able to switch back to her. So I'll do that and show you guys some other stuff with her. But we talked about new playable characters that they added to the Hyrule Warriors, the original Hyrule Warriors game. Something else that they did that I really liked a lot is that Hyrule Warriors game it wasn't really tailored to one series, whereas this Hyrule Warriors game is more specifically tailored toward the Breath of the Wild story. So they really had a lot more freedom, I feel like, in that other Hyrule Warriors game to add characters from other existing Zelda titles that just didn't have anything to do with, one specific one. For instance, we have characters from Link's Awakening, Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, Twilight Princess, Wind Waker, Skyward Sword, Link Between Worlds, and even Spirit Tracks, I think, has like one or two characters in the game. So, I mean, they were able to include a ton of characters. It kind of felt like a Legend of Zelda All-Stars game. In a sense, because there's so many different characters that you could choose from a ton of different franchises. I mean, franchises among the Zelda series, right? So that was cool.
It's going to be interesting to see what they do implement character-wise with this, because they could still technically do that and just find some loophole to bring them all in, right? They could 100% do that because they went back in time. So in terms of Breath of the Wild and its storyline, yes, it is Breath of the Wild based in this story too, but it's not focused on the timeline that we played in the actual Breath of the Wild. This is way before, so that we can just, they could pop in characters and, pop them out as they wish, depending.
If they want to bring them back in 2, they could just write them in. Shouldn't be too difficult.
Yeah, I think a lot of those playable characters that came from other series, I should say, not just one. Ocarina of Time is obviously the most prominent one because it's probably the most famous Zelda game. But I mean, there was like Majora's Mask DLC. I know there was like Skull Kid. I think Tingle was even a playable character in that original game. You also had obviously Young Link was a big one. So I mean, they did actually go out of their way to do like themed DLC packs, which I assume is coming to this game as well because those probably sold really well.
Oh yeah, dude, 100% there'll be DLC.
Yeah. All right, so we're using Impa now. I am going to probably use her for the rest of this because we saw enough gameplay of Link for now. But the last thing I sort of have on my list here of topics is one of the main reasons why I actually enjoyed playing the old Hyrule Warriors game was the fact that the combos just felt so like satisfying to execute on like a wide variety of enemies. Like you would just walk into a keep or whatever that you had to try and capture, and with certain characters you would just like do a few moves and you just kill everything immediately, and it just felt satisfying to do. And that was one of the reasons why, even though it kind of is a repetitive game, right? There's no hiding that it is just super repetitive. But if you're able to actually have fun with this, even after doing like so many repetitive things in the game over and over again, that's how you know that they did a good job in designing like these certain combos that you're going to be doing. So I hope that they do as good of a job in this game as they did on the other game. But I don't know if you guys have the same feeling that I did about that. But yeah, I really like the combos that you're able to execute in the old game, just because
Yeah,
again,
I mean, the combos that
you
you're showing off right now are looking pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm gonna try and do some
cool. You're doing some pretty cool stuff.
Gonna try and do some stuff in here. I'm still learning the controls a lot, so like none of this stuff is super fancy, but I'm trying to get as many attacks in as possible so you guys can see the different things. So we have like shadow clones here right now, right? So all my attacks are just getting pretty much duplicated by those. So you see the bar of health that he has just going down like just a ton more than it would be normally going down.
Have you noticed any frame rate issues with that?
Frame rate issues? I mean, not really. I wouldn't say it's 60 frames, but
that's good. That's good.
You know,
I think the frame rates really come into play when there's a ton of enemies around you.
Yeah,
that's when the frames really start to go.
I mean, you even saw that same issue back in the Wii U version of this game. So it's just, if you have like 70 enemies on your screen, you're just eventually going to hit the threshold where you're just all of a sudden you're experiencing some frame drops.
A forbidden thing that we could discuss about.
All right, and that is pretty much
was a great console concept, though. I'll give it that.
It was really cool.
Yeah, and that is the first mission, or the first stage, I guess. And if you guys notice, I did receive rupees here. This is actually my second time playing through that just because I wanted to do one trial run before coming back. And we have amassed, 1,144 rupees, plus some weapons. So I guess, technically, what you could do before the game actually gets its full release is you could just sit here and grind rupees, because from what I understand, the save data from the demo actually gets transferred over to the main game once that comes out. So if I sit here and grind like a billion rupees, like it's going to carry over. I'm just going to be rich when the game comes out, I guess, right? So here is basically the character screen. Right now I only have obviously 2 characters, but you can change your weapons. Like right now I have this one equipped because it has the highest attack damage, 17. There's also armor that you can use. I only have these 3 things, that's why I'm using all those. And you could go to the next character if there's anything better I can use for her. And I guess you could change your party too. So like once you get more characters that you unlock, you can change which characters you want to bring with you. And then obviously you can change between those characters when you're actually in the stage there. But yeah, like if I don't want to, let's say for instance that I had a better weapon than this, I could just change it out for a different weapon. But these are all the same, so it doesn't really matter.
I assume it's a max party of 4, yeah?
I think so.
I think anything too high, like 8 would probably be really pushing it. So I think because there's local co-op, I think it'd be, if it's 4 players, then 4 people play as one specific character. Kind of like Genshin, actually.
And I think the demo, what is this, like 4 different stages or 3 different stages you can actually play through?
Yeah.
So really the demo was really not that small. I assumed it was only going to be that one stage that we just played through, but it's more than that.
Yeah, the demo is like the entire first chapter of the game.
Yeah. And that's why I guess they decided to make it so that it transfers over to the main game when that comes out. And if you notice in the bottom left, it does say 2-player mode. Now, unfortunately, based off of what I know, that is only pertaining to local co-op. You cannot actually play co-op with other people online, to the best of my knowledge.
No, there's no online.
No, which is I don't understand why not, but yeah.
Hopefully, they decide to maybe implement it down the line at some point, but who knows?
So apparently, you know how you have that rush attack when you're like like going on your shield and going through the enemies, just plowing through them.
Yeah.
There's also, you can ride, I guess, or something like riding divine beasts, like tanks and aircraft vehicles, and just mow down them.
Really?
That's pretty cool.
That's gonna be fun. That's what Polygon said. That's what I just read. So
that's sick.
Yeah, that's gonna be fun.
But yeah, I mean, I'm really looking forward to this game's full release. I will definitely be streaming it a lot. I'll probably be making just straight up videos on it as well. But other than that, I think we've pretty much covered everything we need to cover about this demo, about what our expectations are for the game, what we want to see in the game. Anything you guys want to mention before we head out?
Ready to see you put
it's
in
only up to 2
hours.
players, by the way.
Up to 2 players for co-op? Okay.
Yeah, it's 2 players.
All right.
November 20th is the release date.
Yep.
And it's 10 gigabytes.
It's about 22 days from now or something like that, so it's almost here.
Yep.
Yeah, it's really
You're
close.
gonna have to put down Legends, dude.
You know, if people are strapped for cash, just wait for after Thanksgiving for Black Friday and Cyber Monday.
Yeah,
good
for
deal.
sure.
No,
So-
I mean, but they never put these on sale
No,
that
they
early.
don't.
Yeah, Nintendo sucks with sales.
You never know. I mean, you could probably find something on. You can find Switch accessories on sale though. Hey, buy a Switch
true.
if you don't have one.
There you go. There you go.
So if you guys are interested in seeing more content on Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity, make sure you follow us over on Twitch, where we will be streaming the game once it comes out. Make sure you sub to the channel and all that good stuff as well. This has been Goresh, Gotcha Talks, and Hydros. Thank you guys for watching, and we will see you all in the next one.